Welcome to Cuckoo for Who, a Doctor Who podcast. Season 10, Episode 3, Thin Ice.
London residents turn out for the 1814 Frost Fair, but revelers are disappearing through the frozen Thames.
That's a pretty concise description. Who are we?
All right. I'm your host, Molly Southgate, and with me is...
Martha Southgate.
And...
Rob Southgate.
Okay, I loved this episode.
Oh my gosh. This was an amazing
really good.
Is it okay if I start out with the end? Because I'm going crazy.
Okay.
So, we saw
with
that...
Nardal?
Yeah, so we saw that creature at the door.
Well, we didn't see the creature, we just heard it knocking.
You knew there was something behind there. I remember in the episode when, that really creepy one about I think it was last season, with Danny Pink, the monster under the bed.
Uh-huh.
I think, and they had it locked up in something that kind of looked like that. And they're like, oh, we'll never know if it will come back or anything. I think that's what's in there.
Oh, you think it's tied to that?
Interesting.
And I'm like, okay, so they're just leaving that. I'm like, why are... And then I saw that and I went, oh, Doctor Who would never do something.
I'll tell you who I think it is.
Okay.
I think it's Missy. I think it's the Master. Because when we first, in the new Who, when we first got introduced to the Master, it was all about tapping. And here it's knocking. And he's like, no, you're not getting out no matter what. He's got to keep his eye on you. I have a feeling it's Missy. That's my guess. Which goes back to the Danny Pink thing, because it could be tied to that, too.
That Missy was under
No, but I think it's that creature.
Oh,
well, when they did that episode with the thing in the bed, we talked about it a lot. They made it seem like it was all resolved. But remember, we kept saying, but there was clearly something in that room. There was clearly something under those covers. So you could be right. It could be that, but I'm not convinced.
I think it was because when I saw what that thing looked like too, because they were like, it was trapped outside of a room somewhere. And at first I was kind of like, oh, maybe.
Could be.
Is that.
Could be.
And it just looked a lot like that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All
right.
I
don't think we're going to figure out on the next episode. I think that's
probably not
be
the next episode.
The arc.
Do you think that'll be the finale?
Well, I think that we're going to have a couple of different things. I think that, first of all, we had wondered if the whole season was going to take place in the time from him going from that room to going to where his tea is. But now that's blown because Nardal saw that, and he's going to do his coin trick so that it relieves that. I do think that whatever's behind that door is going to be a big key to all of this, but I also think in this one, he said it more than once about being her teacher. He mentioned it a couple times. I think that's what this is. They knew going into it, it was his last season as the Doctor. I think that they're doing all of this to transition so that their hopes would be that Bill would go on with the next Doctor, and Bill will shepherd the next Doctor a little bit.
That would be
very
until
cool.
They get their footing. So that could be what's going on. So that he doesn't forget certain things, you know?
Because he definitely is her teacher. And he's like, stop it, I'm your teacher. And
yeah, like he's grooming her for something, for sure.
Absolutely.
Also, he did say he would... And actually, he saw her and said, I'll tutor you. And she didn't ask him.
Right.
He probably knew she wanted it.
Yeah.
But she did not say, will you tutor me?
So this episode, we have him go back in time. It starts right where the last one ended.
Yes.
With seeing the elephant on the ice. But now we realize it's because the Thames has frozen over.
Right.
And basically that's a circus going on. Well, yeah, but people are like having fun out on the ice because it doesn't happen.
Well, they said it happens every year.
Yes,
yeah,
but remember they said...
Right, they said this was the biggest frost.
one.
Yeah.
So,
because they were luring people and feeding it, so it was giving it more and more frost.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely horrid.
I loved the scenes, like the scene in the beginning with Bill as they get to the 1800s.
Yeah.
And she looks around. She was like, I can't go out there. There's still slavery. And he knew exactly what to do, of course, because he's a doctor. Mm-hmm. But he's like, oh, wardrobe room.
Yeah, right.
Go over here, down there, turn light there, And she was like, ooh, okay.
And like what she's wearing is
put a costume
very modern, too. So that's why,
they can't look like shit.
No, especially very revealing.
Well, this is interesting. Bill is definitely the voice of the audience, but
I love Bill.
They're also writing her completely different than any other
I agree.
companion. I love that she's. Mm-hmm. It's not just like, oh, she's seen a couple things and now she's just having fun with it. Like Amy Pond had a lot of fun with it.
Yes.
Rose just kind of accepted it. Like each of them have their way of doing it. Martha wanted to fight through it, but this, it's like she's genuinely marveling at it. And then she's asking those questions, those things that we've talked about on the show. Like
things that are like the doctor has never been asked. Because she's like, what's a Dalek? And he's like, it's
just that.
Yeah.
He's like, it's a Dalek.
But like the fact that she's asking about the repercussions, the butterfly effect.
Yes.
They never say that.
Right.
And I love his reaction, which is like, at first he's kind of playing with her, like, oh, don't step on that.
He said, remember when Pete stepped on that butterfly?
Yeah. She's like, who's Pete? He goes, see, you don't remember him because he disappeared. Yeah, he was erased.
But then he says, like, take the flyer. And she goes, but, and he goes, it's a flyer. And I love how his reasoning, which is, every choice you make is going to affect things.
Yeah, he's like, on Earth, even if you were just living your day-to-day, you would make a choice that might obliterate you or not, So.
But it is an interesting thought, because a lot of times with time travel things, I've read a lot of time travel books and watched a lot of shows. To me, that's always a huge sticking point is, at what point, what is the thing that could cause you not only the timeline to change, like Back to the Future, we see the whole thing change and they have to go back and fix it.
Right.
But if he talks to the kid in the red hat, and the kid in the red hat doesn't die because for some reason they walked away and turned left, and now that kid turns out to be Hitler.
Right.
You don't know what that is, because if you think about your life, you can go back and look at little choices where you go, well, I wonder if things would have, if I had chosen to pick up that phone, could that have been
time, or pursued that relationship, or done
and
whatever. Yeah.
So, I mean, those things are legit. If you start messing with time, but to the doctor, he's just like, no, it really is marked points, and it just moves forward. I thought that was a really, really Doctor Who explanation of it.
Well, and he does
don't
interfere.
Think too hard. We're going forward.
The fact that he had that guy killed.
Yeah,
then,
I loved.
But
his
then
speech
he made
to that guy,
made that boy the heir just because. Well, they said we can't make you the heir because you're not a boy. It has to be a boy legally. So otherwise, they were going to give that girl that part.
Yeah, because she had leadership skills.
Right, but they gave it to him, and then it changed history. That's really kind of reckless.
Well, he's been reckless.
I know.
Oh, he's the doctor.
Well, that's what he says. But that's what he says is, well, whatever. We just.
Yeah.
I just keep doing it.
He's the doctor. He just is reckless.
Yeah, but it's when you think about what could happen because they switched the timeline.
Yeah, and I wonder if the idea that they operate from with this show is, like, in this case, we make these changes. Right. Some people die, some people don't. But all the key points, the things that are going to happen within your life, still march forward. You make your choices to change it, but your past doesn't change it. Like your prehistory doesn't change it. I wonder if that's kind of the idea here, because it could get really sticky with all the time travel stuff. And here you wonder, is he aware at some point? Like, okay, so he didn't know there was this creature under the ice,
right? But
he solves it, and then he's like, well, it just gets buried in history. He's been there twice before, he said. So did he know? I don't think he did.
No.
I wonder if, here's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
She said, the first thing she said is, were you hopping dimensions? And he said, or can we hop dimensions, alternate universes? He's like, no. But maybe it is. Maybe by going back in time, every time you go back, you're going into a splinter of that dimension. Because,
that's interesting.
Well, because he didn't, if it's not that way, then he would know all of these things because he knows human history. And if he doesn't know, like he's been there, he would know some of this stuff. So if he's going back and it's changing things, that's one thing. But maybe in a past, he traveled back, or the master traveled back and dropped something into the water that caused this creature to actually evolve into this. Right. His Sonic fell in the water 8 million years ago, and it made this creature evolve. And that's why it's there, but there's no dubious reason for any of it, you know?
Maybe something like how you said the Sonic. Now that you think about it, how that thing evolved, it looked a lot like those little fish, but they said the little fish weren't carnivores.
Right.
So maybe that fish evolved into that at some point.
Now, what if, this is kind of far-fetched, but what if he had gone back there and dealt with this somewhat differently, and it escalated to this because he didn't take care of it, and now Bill said free her?
Yeah. Could be.
It could be that now he's gone back and it's like, okay, this thing is huge now. And,
I don't think that's the case.
I don't either. I'm just saying
he's not aware that that's the case.
That he affected it somehow.
But it would be an interesting thing to take an episode like this and a couple seasons from now, 10 years from now, go back and say, remember when we did this? Let's have this doctor. Let's have the 20th doctor. Right. Go back to a point in time before this and cause that
to happen.
I mean, you know, that's what we say about this, but as a writer, I would look maybe at some of the shows, even like, you know, season 4 of the entire series and say, is there a point where something is here that we could
That's
that
what
could
I
be
thought
the
they were
fault?
doing with the
thing in the door?
Yeah.
So some of my favorite lines, some of my favorite moments, when he says to her, I'm 2,000 years old and I've never had the time for the luxury of outrage.
Oh,
when
that was
he's
so
trying
excellent.
to, and I love her, he really let her sit in it. He let her feel the feelings. He
wasn't denying her that.
But he didn't suffer it with her.
Right.
He just was like, okay, and now can we move on? Like, yes, you can do this, but I don't have this luxury. You want to fix this? Then let's fix it. But if you want to watch more people die, you sit here and lament this one kid.
Well, and I do believe that when he gave her the choice, it was her choice.
Yes.
If she had said, don't free it, he would have walked away.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he had no skin in the game. He didn't care what the outcome was going to be.
He does care, but
he doesn't care about that part of it. To
once
him,
again, if he's like, time marches on.
Yes, it's no skin off his nose. He said it a million times, in a million different ways. This is it. If this was the course of history, we're, everything's still kicking that many, hundreds of years later. It's all going to be fine. Do you want to fix this or not? How do you want it to end?
Yeah.
Because your choice. It's choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
And you know what? I just thought of something. Like when we're talking about the repercussions, you think about Gallifrey, and you think about how Gallifrey fell. And then in the 50th, he went back and essentially saved Gallifrey. Yes. But he also put Gallifrey into another dimension.
Uh-huh.
So it does go through dimensions. Even though he said it doesn't, they
Rose,
do.
Yeah.
I think he was just telling her that so that way she didn't get a bunch. And actually, Nardal said, you said you wouldn't go off-world. And he said, I didn't, because he stayed on Earth.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So, I think that's why he's part of the reason. He was like, no, I can't do that much.
So he's not revealing that to her, but, they don't do it a lot, but those are two instances. Rose and actually the one where they go to I think that was the same. It wasn't. The one where they go where Martha and Mickey are like freedom fighters. That is an alternate timeline, but that could be argued that that's a splinter dimension.
Yeah.
But they went to one that was definitely an alternate with Rose when they went. I think it was the one. Was it the one called? No, that wasn't Father's Day. Yeah, that was not Father's Day. they went to one.
Yeah, because time wouldn't let him say, it was getting angry that they were changing the father dying. And they kept saying, and those the timekeeper type aliens kept trying to stop them from doing it, so it kept repeating it like Groundhog's Day.
Mm.
So that's what happens. Maybe if you change something that has an actual impact from that fixed moment, those time creatures come and stop you from doing it. Maybe that's why he's comfortable with it.
I thought it was interesting that Nardole said at the end, he's been distracted because he has a new friend.
Yeah.
Because he must have stayed put sitting there working his little professor job or whatever, you know. Yeah, and then Bill came and it's like, ooh, want to go on an adventure, you know? Yeah. Like all of a sudden now he gets to go play with his buddy.
Yeah.
That made me wonder for a second there. I went, I have a feeling we've seen this character. We might have seen this character before in there, but I think it sounded very much when he first said it like, sorry he's not paying attention to you.
Yes.
Right.
Not sorry he's not paying attention to you. It's don't act up because he's still here and he's still paying attention. It was don't start getting ideas thinking that we're vulnerable.
But I'm watching and he's still here.
And we're not vulnerable. That's what they meant.
The feeling that we've traveled with this creature before.
We've definitely encountered the creature.
But that the doctor, it just felt like it might have been like a past companion.
That would be locked up.
Why would they be banging on a door?
That's why I think it could be the master.
Yes, but
it's got to be somebody who's dangerous to them.
Right.
Yeah, and that he thought that bit of spaceship.
Now, if it is Missy, though, didn't Missy go off with Clara?
Nope, that was Lady Me.
Oh, that's who it was. Yeah.
All right. So, other favorite parts.
Other favorite parts.
When she said, when the girl said that it was a guy who had a tattoo on his hand, and Bill said, "Oh, well, we could go ask around," and the doctor goes, "Boring."
Yeah, boring. And then he got into that thing with the fisherman where he's like, "I hate tattoos too," and he's like, "Wait, no, this isn't the time." Like,
no, he said,
"How did you do that card trick?" Okay, never mind.
This is not the time. And then he goes, and then he said,
and then he was saying,
he started talking about the tattoo.
He said, "Have
you seen a guy
with a tattoo?"
And he's like, "I'm taking that silence as you hate tattoos. I hate them too. See, we're bonding."
Yeah, I think we're bonding. Yeah, that was so funny.
Because he stole all the pies and everything from him, and he's like being so weird to this guy.
And then they're putting on their suits, and he says, "Let's get eaten." And then she says, "We're not going to totally be defenseless down there." And he goes, "No, of course not." Well, yes, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I know what Molly loved in this. When the guy walked in and goes, "Dr. Disco."
I wrote that down. I love that.
Dr. Disco is the best.
Dr. Disco, what a name.
From that time, they don't know what the disc.
I know, that's what's so funny.
It's just a word to them.
It's just someone's last name, but it's
Dr.
hilarious.
Disco
oh my gosh.
But I love that he uses Dr. Disco as his name.
He was like, ooh, that one's name. Like,
and she got to see the psychic paper.
Yes.
Which is very exciting.
What did it say on it? Because
Dr. Disco.
Yeah, no. Dr. Disco, that he worked for for that government.
Oh, and then she said, she was like, and then he said, ooh, I haven't had that one in a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when Nardole was saying, this is, that he was being naughty, he's like, this is naughty. And the doctor goes, language.
Yeah. He's like naughty.
Naughty is a bad word.
No, he said, this is just not good. He said, this is just not good. It's downright naughty.
Yeah.
But he always said it. It was like, ooh, I'm saying a bad swear. Yeah. But I'm going to say it. And then doctor went, language.
And I just can't express how much I love Pearl.
Wait, no. Yeah. Better, my favorite line. So after he makes him the tea, and he's like, I put a little coffee in it for some flavor, and he's doing this, And he's yelling at him about going out, and he goes, I'm in my specially chosen tea clothes.
Yes.
He's like, I know you went out. You're wearing the clothes. He's like, I'm just here for tea.
These are my specially chosen tea clothes. Oh,
okay, so that was a moment that I bet is, my guess is coffee and tea is probably frowned on.
Yeah.
Even though coffee-infused tea is delicious.
Because I love tea, but I don't like coffee.
So I think they may have been making a joke.
Yes.
Because the English like their tea.
And this guy's a robot who doesn't know that.
I don't know if people would appreciate it, but I love it. I love that coffee-infused tea. It's delicious. So it's pretty funny. But I think that's what I think that was supposed to be a joke. Little did they know.
It's a joke to me.
It's delicious.
It's actually wrong.
It's wrong.
Talk about naughty.
Naughty.
Language,
I love Pearl so much. I think that
I do too.
Oh, she's amazing.
What she brings to it is so fresh.
Yes.
It's really a lot of fun to watch.
And I love that she doesn't, even in this, like, this was a really hard, journey for her. Like, this was a hard...
and then the guy was like, your ignorance shows in your race. And
yeah.
He was so racist.
This was a really hard one for her. She had to watch people die. She had to make really major moral decisions, ethical decisions. But she never lost her awe.
Right.
Like, she was just still like, I can't believe we're here doing this. And
she's kind of the ultimate homeschooler with him. He's homeschooling her.
Yeah.
He
is. And the fact that she's just like, this is all awesome, and I'm going to take everything in and try to learn everything I can.
Yes.
And
that's
he's like,
really what he's doing.
I'm your tutor, I'm your teacher.
Yeah.
She's TARDIS schooled.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I have something pinned on Pinterest, and it says, homeschooling with Doctor Who. I just liked that name, so I never actually looked at it, but that's exactly what he's doing for her.
Yeah.
Yes. So, very cool. But yeah, I loved the episode. I loved the storyline. I thought it was really fun. I loved the effects. When they're on that thing and then the eye opens. And
I knew
that was so cool.
The second we saw the creature, though, I knew that it was going to be another case where the creature's not the bad guy. Something else is the bad guy. It reminded me of the one where they have the space whale. Is that what it was?
Space whale.
Yeah. And
with the city on top of it?
Yeah, and you find out that the thing is really just being tortured.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes you... So, like, it reminded me of that. And then as soon as they show the chains, I'm like, yep, that's absolutely what's going on. But he told you, when he said, it doesn't mean it's alien.
Yes.
The threat might be here.
Right.
And he was telling you, like, yeah, look out, because don't just assume aliens are the bad guys.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Are they sometimes? Yes.
Yeah.
Are humans the bad guys sometimes? And I loved
his speech. It was very pertinent to our world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
then I loved how Bill was like, that was so beautiful.
Yeah, and she's like, that was worth you living that long. She's like, how long do you have to live to be able to do a speech like that?
Yeah, and if you watch Peter Capaldi's face when she says that line, he barely did anything with his face, but you could just see the pride come out because he knew I knocked that one out of the park. Yeah. I thought that was he had some excellent acting.
Oh my gosh, brilliant. When he delivered the line about him not having time for outrage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think he's having a really good time playing against Bill.
Yeah. They're a perfect match. I like him much better than with Clara.
I love Clara. I loved them together, but
I do too. But I'm not. This is different. I like this better.
Yeah,
and I think
also,
it's
it was
probably
kind of strange with Clara because she loved Matt Smith.
Well, I was going to say,
they loved each other.
I think that was a really cool dynamic to try. That here you've got this bleed over from this. She's used to the Doctor in a different form,
right?
And now they've got. I loved that play where But like when I see this, I think he deserved his own death. Like,
right.
This is so good that he got a chance to have his own companion.
The problem is when they're leaving in 3 years or whatever, and the companion may not be ready. So, like, for the next season, from what I understand, Bill is supposed to be back.
That would be great.
So is Bill going to be a companion for a few years, or is it one of these Bill will be back for an episode? Or,
I don't know.
It better not
But
be.
Bill is so new. Like, she'll have only had a year with this
I want
doctor.
her forever.
That's happened, though.
I know. No, but I'm saying...
Donna had one
saying
season.
It won't have the impact that Clara and Matt Smith had on this new doctor. Because she will have only been with him for a short time. Then when she switches to the new doctor, she's going to be like, oh, okay. Like, it's exciting. It's not... When Clara and Matt had to separate...
Clara was devastated.
That was a whole different ball
I also
game.
think she wasn't warned. I have a feeling that since he is teaching her, he is going to inform
mentor her
about how this works.
Yeah. And he's going to say, I'm going to change.
She'll have trouble with it because she's going to be
She's going to miss him.
It's her friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think Clara was taken by surprise.
Well, and Clara was also, they loved each other.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Yeah, she's just
with
his friend.
being a friend.
It was similar to...
And knowing that he's still in there.
When Eccleston was the doctor and it switched to David Tennant, Rose had a bit of a hard time doing that shift. She fell in love with David Tennant.
Yes.
But...
Yeah.
She was very much like Pearl, like really enamored with what he was doing and having fun with everything. She didn't ask the same questions Pearl asks, but she was enamored. And she had a bit of a transition. She was a little bit mad at him when they switched, but I think Clara had a much harder shift.
Yes.
And even though she got on board pretty quickly, it was more difficult.
Then they were like angry with each other the whole time. And
I could see Pearl transitioning a little easier.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, she's also a very different personality than Clara.
And have you seen pictures of this new doctor?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to love them.
Imagine Pearl running around with her.
Doesn't she have like funny suspenders and like big pants,
knickerbockers on or something?
Yeah,
I don't know. Or no, capris.
No, they're like floods.
Well, we haven't seen it yet.
She has a crazy fun outfit.
Yeah, we can't talk about it. That's actually, I believe that the new doctor is revealed in the Christmas episode, which we got to get there. Yeah, we got a ways to go. So, is there anything else in this episode? No.
Molly, I absolutely loved it.
I did too. Oh my gosh.
I did too.
Cannot wait for the next episode.
I'm really, really, really enjoying this season.
Oh, yeah.
So good. I'm going to wrap it up. Find all of our social media links in the show notes. Follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Look up Cuckoo for Who. On some of it, it's Cuckoo FOR Who. On some of it, it's Cuckoo, the number 4 Who. Either way, you're going to find it. Our website is southgatemediagroup.com. All the links there. We've got a couple of different Doctor Who shows. We've got all sorts of stuff that you can peruse and enjoy. Fill your time with some good geeky fun. And if you want to be in contact with us, send us an email. Send it to southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. It goes right to us. And we'll talk about it on the show if we get the emails or anything. We love to have that type of conversation. Same thing if you write on our Facebook page or you write on Twitter. We will respond. And, hey, we'll mention it on the show when we get a chance. That's it. I am ready to move on to that next one.
Until next time.
Alonze!